USA Cares podcast. I'm your host, Matt Castor, and we are doing a really special episode today because we are coming to you right after our annual Groundhog Day breakfast right here in Louisville, Kentucky. Very snowy Louisville, Kentucky. And this has absolutely been an awesome event. We had over 300 people here to support veteran families in crisis, to give money, but also to give some hope and some encouragement back. And so just an absolutely awesome event. Make sure you check out usacares.org and look for other events where you can attend, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. But today, we had our speaker was Jay Franze, and an awesome presentation. I've gotten to know Jay about 4 years ago, and we've been able to get to know each other a little bit. So we were so honored to have him here, and we have Monica as well, Monica Franze. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank
it's great
you.
to be here.
This is awesome to have you, and I'm excited. This is the first time I've had a veteran couple on, so I'm excited about this.
Really?
A whole new dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
Thanks for having us on.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
awesome. So, Jay, you shared a bit of your story today, and you recently put out a book called 5 Million Steps, talking about kind of your journey after service. And we spend a lot of time talking about people's journey during service.
Yes.
What's it like, for either one of you, what's it like that journey right after you leave?
Wow. So for me, it was an opportunity to reestablish the identity that I wanted to get back and what would carry me for the rest of my life post-career. During service, based on your rank, based on your position, oftentimes you become that identity. Regardless of how hard you try to be that person, mm-hmm. the further you go on your leadership path, the larger your formations become, it's harder to connect with individuals at that personal level. Mm. So I was really excited about that. And then to have a transition to really break clean of all those things that come along with military service, figure out who I was and figure out what I wanted to do next. But might have been a different view for my lovely wife, Monica. What do you think, babe?
Well, when I decided to retire, my husband, he was selected as the Transcom Command Chief. And I said he's going to be traveling a lot, and we have two very young, active boys. And I said, okay, I think it's time for me to hang up my hat so I can take care of the family, take care and support my husband, because he's going to be traveling like all the time.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to work a little bit on myself and work on grad school, something that I wanted to lock in and be able to have the opportunity to do that. Right before I retired, our little boy, Justin, he's like, Mom, guess what? They're hiring for substitute teachers. And I was like, oh, this would be so fun to do. That's like a flexible part-time job. I can be a mom, I can be a student, and I can support my community by being a substitute teacher for children and dependents of the active duty service members that I work with. So that is one thing. I mean, it was slightly easier to retire and go through that transition because my husband, awesome man that he is, was amazing in the support. He's like,
so cool.
Mom is, retiring. That is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And the boys were like, yes, Mom is going to be home to cook now.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
They were excited about the food, but to have you around, that's awesome.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome. So have you
Thank you.
found a good new purpose in the teaching and in kind of that second chapter?
Yes, the purpose, honestly, is being able to get back to my community.
Yeah.
Being able to, because I've been subbing for about 6 years.
Yeah.
And I subbed all the way from pre-K to high school, and I've seen children grow, kind of like our sons, watching them grow. And of course, when I started subbing, I was subbing at the middle school quite often because I had our Justin there. And I would go to the high school, and I said, oh, this is Miss Franze. She likes to feed kids. And I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, I had you guys over my house the other day. You guys like to eat, so here's candy.
That's awesome.
But
I love that.
that purpose that I had to serve was definitely there. So retiring and going from, I certainly need that purpose. I need to do something. I need to, just bring smiles because I'm a people person. I like to just be there. And like I said, being a substitute teacher was like probably one of the coolest things I could have ever done.
I've heard that. So I've heard this from several veterans who've been on,
Yes.
that getting into teaching after their time in service was so rewarding.
Yes, it is.
Because they can have that direct impact that they're looking for.
Yes, sir. It's very,
That's
very
awesome.
rewarding.
And you bring a unique life experience that a
yes.
lot of other teachers may not have.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
yes. And it's funny because I walk in, they're like, yes, Miss Franze. I'm like, oh, I work with your mom, and she's pretty awesome. So,
That's so cool. That's awesome that you found that, and that your community gets the rewards of having you there. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
That's awesome. And Jay, you went for a walk.
I did.
A long walk after your service.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know, you talked a little bit about today about how it was your grandmother that challenged you to do that one day.
Yeah, she
and
did.
It took 42 years to do it. But yeah, talk about your hike and what you wrote about in your book.
Yeah, so the hike was the Pacific Crest Trail. It's 2,650 miles. It goes from the border of Mexico to the border of Canada through California, Oregon, and Washington. And, like you said, Matt, it was a childhood dream.
Yeah.
8 years old, looking through my grandmother's National Geographics. That used to be the way I got to see the world.
Yeah.
And that was a place that I would go to take journeys without having to go anywhere.
That's right.
And she was, like I said in my presentation, the absolute light of my life. And she was the one that was always there for me in those times of need. And she sat down and read with me and got me really excited about. Of course, I grew up in Washington, so I was an outdoor kid. And said, one day I really want to do this. And then over time, you kind of forget about those things sometimes when you get focused on career and you get focused on family.
Yeah.
And close to the end, I was like, you know what? This could be a real thing.
Yeah.
But after, serving for so long alongside my wife, with the challenges that come, you said this is the first time a mill-to-mill couple has been up here.
Yeah.
Sometimes, one person will hit the throttle a little bit and the other will pull back because it's give and take throughout.
Yeah.
Especially if you are both in the same service, and to match assignments. When one person has to go to school or one person has to deploy while we have children, it is really a harmony of service, self, and family. So I figured it was a lot to ask of them after they had given so much into supporting me.
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of guy asked to go for 6 months and hike right after finishing?
Yeah.
And so my approach to it was, hey, babe, 508 miles of the Pacific Crest Trail runs through Washington, my home state. I'm thinking about doing that, and she kind of called me out, and she's like, well, you've been talking about this for years. Why aren't you doing the whole thing?
That's awesome.
Kind of a man-up thing.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
that felt great to do that. But being away from my family was, without a doubt, the hardest part of the journey.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, 5 months, I thought the physical and mental aspects would be the toughest, but it was being away. And, yeah, the journey was incredible. You asked about the book. So there are 17 chapters in there about different experiences I had on the trail.
Yeah.
Reflections on life, the highs and the lows of life, and the so what. What did I learn from this? And what do I have to share with others? And that has been the best part of the book, to be able to share experiences with others and connect with others in different ways, because we all have a story.
Yeah.
But what I'm learning and continue to learn through sharing mine, it's not only my story, it's everyone's. It's just told through my words. But I love that connection and chatting with people that have had the opportunity to read it and something has resonated with them, and we have that common bond in there.
Yeah.
That's such an awesome part of being an author. Love it.
Give me a story from the book, from the trail, that jumped out at you, a crazy story of something that happened.
Yeah, so a crazy story. I mean, there's a lot of interesting characters you run into on the trail.
I bet.
People of all walks of life who are out there to find themselves, to find purpose. People that were the same age as me. I was 50.
Yeah.
There were young college students. There were people taking gap years in between college and jumping into a career. There were people that were experiencing a tough patch in life that that jumped out. I think the craziest, well, I wouldn't say a crazy story, but what I saw in there, which breaks my heart sometimes, is how people compare themselves. This goes into the transition period of being in the military as well.
Yeah.
On the trail, I saw people, because I had a very light pack.
Mm-hmm.
I took my time, kind of a tortoise in the hare situation.
Yeah.
So I would go for a long day, but I wouldn't do it fast. I carried light things, which worked for me. Some people had these enormous packs.
Yeah.
That didn't concern me at all. If you want to carry it, well, okay, good on you.
But they wanted to have every provision they could possibly need.
They did.
Yeah,
But some people, asked about miles, asked about what kind of shoes you're wearing, asked about what kind of pack you're carrying, all of these things. And it's like, look, I came out here to enjoy myself my way.
Yeah.
What works for me might not work for you.
Yeah.
And, some folks get wrapped up in mileage when you're on the trail. And that doesn't concern me at all.
What do they say, that comparison is the thief of joy?
It is, 100%.
Yeah.
And how that relates to veterans and people that have transitioned, whether they retire or they do a shorter term of service and choose to separate, that's fine. What I see a lot is people that get out and they look at someone else's success.
Yeah.
And we all define what success looks like for us.
Right.
Success for me is I measure my wealth by the time and experiences that I get to have with my family.
Yeah.
It's not a dollar amount.
Yeah.
When I see some folks that separate or retire and look at somebody else that might be close to them as an example, hey, I got to get out. I have to make this much money.
Yeah.
I have to have this house. I have to have this car because that person does. Not so, to your point.
And then they're bogged down with, those things that we want hold us down too.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. I hear that so many times when people come out and they're like, I need to go make this amount of money and do this. And I tell them all the time, just
understand
be
your
happy
why
first.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going to really motivate you. And
Yeah.
money can be there, but it goes quickly too. So you got to find that purpose.
Yeah. And it was great to watch her. She retired a year and a half before I did. To see her jump right into it, to see the fulfillment, to see her excitement when she would come home at the end of the day,
that's
just
awesome.
how happy she was.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah.
It makes all the difference. Monica, was your transition what you thought it was going to be?
It was, but I transitioned right as COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting transition just because in my head I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Dun, 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 dun. Like I had a list of things I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, COVID hit, and that's when just life stopped.
Yeah.
Everybody was confined in their homes, and I said, ooh, I retired at a great time because now I can dedicate my 100% to family.
Yeah.
My husband still had to work.
Yeah.
And the amount of stress that we were all going through because the world was it came to a halt.
Yeah.
To me, I think it was a blessing in disguise that I was able to be there 100%.
Yep.
And focus on what I needed to do to have fun. Like I had to bring joy into the house.
Have to, yeah.
Yes, the cooking, the artwork, hey, what kind of projects are we gonna do? Just keeping the boys engaged. So, just coming up with things to keep us hey, I know we're at home and not a lot going on, but what can we do? What kind of arts and crafts? Just projects.
That's so huge. And to me, the ability for you to adapt to that situation. I think a lot of men and women have trouble with that. They get this plan. This is what I'm going to do when I retire, and this is what I'm going to do. But when life throws you those curveballs, how are you going to respond to it? You responded well. Many others don't. And so what advice, either one of you, what advice would you give people? Because a lot of people listening are approaching that transition time or going through it right now or have recently gone through it. What advice would either one of you give to those people?
I would say understand what it is that you want to do. Similar to following that passion or that purpose. What do you want to do and how are you going to get there? Not based off what you might think you should do, what might make sense or what's right in front of you to jump out of uniform into that government service job or one of those other contractor jobs or something like that, which are great if that's what people want.
Right.
But if that's not what you want, don't sign up for misery by jumping into that.
So true.
But also understanding that there might be a time in there where you're going to have to do some things to get where you want to go. So that's okay. That's my second piece of advice. It's all right to change your mind.
Yeah.
If you jump into something post-military service, whether that's just separating or retiring, you learn, you figure out that might not be what you want to do, it's okay to shift to something else.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Real humility in all of this, though, right?
100%.
You've got to be really humble and open to new experiences and be willing to shift on the fly.
Yeah, because things are different in the post-military world, in the civilian community, and in industry. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about you, babe?
I think, of course, because we did a lot of things for our family, a lot of things for our country, a lot of sacrifice, and of course I enjoyed every bit of it. But self-reflection, take some time out. One thing, once I retired, I said, who do I want to be? Like, now I have this time to focus on what I want to do next. But also be mindful of having flexibility, like being flexible for changing things, or like, hey, I want to apply for this job. What if I can't get this job or something happens? And then family. Consider family, because I know it's about taking care of yourself, but look at what the family is going to do. Are they going to be supportive? I know the boys were really happy when I retired, because like, yes, mom is here, and then we're going to work on supporting dad, because that's important. I know.
Next chapter.
Yes,
right? Next chapter in the book.
Absolutely. But definitely what my darling husband said, take a step back, self-reflect.
Yeah.
What's in your heart to move forward and be happy with what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
So
important to have that passion. And I think, you guys have a great dynamic supporting each other and being willing to shift back and forth. And I think that's got to be a huge aspect of it too.
It is.
For the families to be able to understand that somebody's going through something, and that you may need to be a little more patient, and take some time with it.
Yeah,
so.
That brings up a good point too, Matt. The conversations we had with our sons, we had children, we met later in life, we married later in life, had children later in life. And every time an opportunity would come up to take an assignment, to move, even before our sons understood what it was that we were talking about, we would sit down as a family and make a decision together.
It's huge.
Hey, this, because, I had been in our time and service difference, I'd been in about 9 years longer. She came in the Air Force later, got out, went to the reserves for a bit, came back in. So I was about 9 years further along. So a lot of my assignments drove our moves. And it's like, okay, let's sit down. I have been presented the opportunity to interview for this position. This is what it's going to cost as far as my time away. This is what we're going to look at when we're going to go to different schools. Our sons, our oldest, who is now a junior at Mizzou, we got to Scott, where U.S. Transportation Command is, when he was in 8th grade. That was his 7th school, Matt.
Jeez.
We committed to them. The reason why we both chose to retire there is our commitment to our sons to give them the stability that they needed and deserved through our youngest, through elementary, middle, and high school, and our oldest, middle school and high school. And then we filled in the rest. But that flexibility and bouncing off and leveraging and, pulling on the strengths that we each have to fill in those gaps in between us and have that supportive family was awesome. But we just included them in the conversation.
And it's such a respectful thing to do for the kids. Yeah. And then they grow up into adults and have their families.
Exactly.
You hope they carry that on.
Yeah. And they know what she still had plenty of years and plenty of potential. Could have continued to serve. I had a couple opportunities that maybe I could have pursued, but chose to, for our family, chose to retire when I did. They understand what we did, but they also understand our gratitude for what they put into it, because it's just not the person wearing the uniform, it's the whole family that serves.
That's awesome. It's so true, and we try to focus on that aspect of it in so many of these presentations we do. The decisions one make affects everyone, and how we approach that with the family is so important. So that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
This was a fun day.
Yeah.
And,
Thank
you know,
you.
for us at USA Cares, this is so much of a homecoming and get to see all the friends. I wish we could do an all-day thing because I didn't get to see everybody, but it's so fun. I hope you all got to meet a lot of people.
We did.
And I hope you'll come to some events again in the future.
Yeah,
But,
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
Thanks for
honor to
having
have
us.
you. Yeah, thank you.
And thanks for
Matt.
this. This was great.
Yeah,
Little spontaneous.
I know. I love
And,
it. It's
I
our
love
first
those.
remote.
Yeah, I
Our
love
first
this.
military couple and our first remote all in one. So.
That's awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Right on.
Yeah. So thank you to our sponsors. Big shout out to McClellan Integrated Services, Roller Die and Forming, and of course our good friends at Hardee's and Carl's Jr. Restaurants, who have been awesome. And coming up this Memorial Day, we'll do another Stars for Heroes campaign around the country, where when you visit their restaurants, you can buy a little paper star for $1 or $2, put it up on the wall, put your name on it, and show that you support veterans. And a large percentage of that money comes right back to USA Cares and helps us keep veteran families together in their homes. So if you're going to spend money going out to eat, do it with somebody who's giving back. So if you are new to the USA Cares podcast, welcome. This is a podcast all about honoring our veteran community. We'd love to have you hit that subscribe button and make this part of your regular routine. So from the Franze family and from me, thank you for being with us, and we look forward to